Shaquille O'Neal just said something on national television about LeBron James that no analyst, no former teammate, no Hall of Famer has ever dared to say out loud, and the three words that came out of his mouth sent shockwaves through every Lakers fan, every LeBron defender, and every person who's watched the greatest player of this generation slowly transform from unstoppable force to something nobody ever thought they'd witness. The Big Diesel, the man who played alongside LeBron in Cleveland during the twilight of his own career, the four-time champion who knows exactly what it looks like when greatness starts to fade, sat across from Dan Patrick in December 2025 and dropped a nuclear bomb disguised as honest analysis. Man, I don't want to be the one to say LeBron is a complementary player. Those words hung in the air for a split second before the basketball world exploded because the king, the chosen one, the player who's been the system for 2 decades, just got publicly categorized as a role player by one of the most dominant centers in NBA history. If you want to stay ahead of every single development and what's about to become the biggest story of the 2026 NBA season, hit that subscribe button right now, because what's happening in Los Angeles isn't just the end of an era, it's the complete collapse of everything LeBron James built over 23 years, and you don't want to miss a single moment as this legend either adapts to survive or crumbles under the weight of Father Time's undefeated record. Let's start with the injury that changed everything, because this isn't just about Shaq's comments or LeBron's declining role. This is about a 40-year-old body finally betraying a player who thought he was immune to aging. August 2025, LeBron James, in the middle of what should have been routine basketball activities preparing for his record-setting 23rd NBA season, felt something in his lower back. A nerve, sharp, burning pain radiating from his spine down through his buttocks and into his right leg. Sciatica, the kind of injury that sidelines regular people for weeks or months, the kind of condition that announces itself as a warning sign that your body is breaking down. For the first time in his legendary career, LeBron James missed opening night. October 21, 2025, Lakers vs. Warriors, the Crypto.com arena. LeBron's name wasn't in the starting lineup, not because of rest, not because of load management, because his body physically couldn't handle the demands of professional basketball anymore. The team announced he'd be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. Those weeks turned into 14 games. 14 games where the Los Angeles Lakers had to function without the player who's controlled every aspect of their offense since arriving from Cleveland in 2018. And here's what nobody expected. The Lakers went 8-3 without him. 8 wins and 3 losses while their 40-year-old superstar sat on the sidelines with nerve damage, watching from home as Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves carried the franchise on their backs. Doncic, the Slovenian sensation who the Lakers acquired in a blockbuster trade last season that sent Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, immediately took over as the alpha. 34.7 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, 8.8 assists. Those aren't just all-star numbers. Those are MVP-caliber statistics, the kind of production that makes front offices wonder if they even need their aging superstar anymore. Austin Reaves, the undrafted guard who the Lakers took a chance on years ago, suddenly looked like a legitimate all-star candidate. In games where both Luka and LeBron were unavailable, Reaves put the entire team on his back and dragged them to victories that should have been impossible. The rise wasn't gradual, it was explosive, and it created a problem that the Lakers never saw coming. LeBron returned in mid-November, rusty, tentative, different. The numbers tell the brutal story. He's no longer averaging the 28 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists that defined his Lakers tenure. He's become the third scoring option on Redick's team, behind Luka, behind Reeves, the man who spent 2 decades as the offense, who made everyone around him better through sheer force of will and basketball IQ, is now deferring possessions, picking his spots, riding the bench during critical fourth-quarter stretches because his younger teammates are simply better options. This isn't load management. This isn't strategic rest. This is the harsh reality of age catching up to someone who thought he could play forever. And that's when Shaq decided to say what everyone else was thinking, but nobody had the courage to articulate.
December 16, 2025. The Dan Patrick Show. Shaquille O'Neal,
who's never been shy about controversial opinions, addressed the LeBron situation with brutal honesty wrapped in diplomatic language. It's just that I think LeBron knows and understands that at some point this thing comes to an end, and LeBron has always been a team guy first, so, right now he's integrated. Integrated. That's the word Shaq used. Not dominating, not leading, not carrying. Integrated. Like LeBron is a puzzle piece fitting into someone else's system instead of being the system himself. Shaq continued, breaking down the reality that Lakers fans are watching unfold in real time. Listen, Austin Reaves is playing lights out. Luka is the leading scorer in the NBA. He's playing lights out. I mean, LeBron is smart enough to know to let these guys cook. Let these guys cook. Translation? LeBron doesn't have a choice. His body can't do what it used to do. His explosiveness is gone. His first step is slower. His shooting percentages are down. And the Lakers have two young stars who are objectively better offensive players right now. But Shaq wasn't done twisting the knife. I'm not going to be the guy to say, LeBron, you need to be a complementary player. LeBron knows and understands how to win, knows and understands how to run a team, and all the greats come to this point. All the greats come to this point. That sentence is doing so much work. It's acknowledging LeBron's greatness while simultaneously announcing that his time as the best player on a championship team is over. It's a eulogy disguised as analysis, and the basketball world heard it loud and clear. Social media exploded. ESPN spent entire segments debating whether Shaq crossed a line or simply said what everyone was thinking. Lakers fans split into two camps. One group defended LeBron, pointing to his 23 years of dominance, his 4 championships, his all-time scoring record. The other group quietly admitted that Shaq was right, that watching LeBron defer to Luka and Reeves isn't strategic genius, it's necessity born from physical decline. Here's what makes this situation so devastating for LeBron's legacy. He's not retiring as the best player in the league. He's not walking away on top like Michael Jordan after his second three-peat. He's slowly, publicly, painfully transitioning into a role player while the entire world watches and analyzes every missed shot, every defensive breakdown, every fourth quarter where he sits on the bench while younger players close out games. The words LeBron James and complementary player were never supposed to exist in the same sentence. For 2 decades, LeBron was the sun, and everyone else orbited around him. Dwayne Wade deferred to him in Miami. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love played second and third fiddle in Cleveland. Anthony Davis restructured his entire game to accommodate LeBron's dominance in the Lakers' 2020 championship run. But now, in January 2026, LeBron is the one deferring. He's the one adjusting his game to fit around Luka's ball-dominant style. He's the one accepting fewer touches, fewer opportunities, fewer moments where the game is decided by his actions. The sciatica injury accelerated everything. Before he got hurt, there was still plausible deniability. Sure, his numbers were down slightly, but he was still LeBron, still capable of 30-point games, still the leader. The injury changed the narrative permanently because it forced the Lakers to play without him, and they discovered something terrifying. They might be better without him. Not because LeBron is bad, not because he can't contribute, but because his presence forces the offense to slow down. It requires accommodations that limit what Luka and Reeves can do. When LeBron is on the court, possessions take longer, the pace slows, the ball movement becomes predictable. When he sits, the Lakers play faster, more unpredictably, with better spacing and more aggressive decision-making. Redick, the first-year head coach who's trying to establish his system, has noticed it. Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator who took over play-calling duties mid-season, has adjusted the scheme to maximize Luka and Reeves while minimizing LeBron's weaknesses.
Let's talk about what this means for LeBron's final chapter. Because he's not retiring after this season. He picked up his $52.6 million player option for next year. He's committed to playing a 24th season, which would be unprecedented in NBA history. But what does that look like? Is he accepting a bench role? Is he transitioning to a veteran mentor who plays 20 minutes a game and provides leadership rather than production? Or is he going to fight this narrative, demand more touches, create tension in the locker room by refusing to accept that his time as the alpha is over? The Lakers are third in the Western Conference with an 18-7 record through late December. They're legitimate title contenders. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the organization wants to admit out loud. Their championship hopes might depend on LeBron accepting a reduced role. If he tries to reclaim his status as the primary option, if he fights against the reality that Luka is better right now, he could destroy the chemistry that's made this team so successful. Shaquille O'Neal knows this firsthand because he lived through his own version of this exact situation. When Shaq joined the Cavaliers in 2009 to play alongside LeBron, he was 37 years old, past his prime, trying to win one more championship before retiring. He had to accept a reduced role. He had to defer to LeBron. He had to watch younger players get more minutes and more opportunities, while he provided veteran leadership and occasional flashes of dominance. That experience is why Shaq's comments cut so deep. He's not some talking head offering uninformed hot takes. He's someone who understands exactly what LeBron is going through, and he's being honest about what comes next. All the greats come to this point. Kobe Bryant came to this point. Tim Duncan came to this point. Michael Jordan came to this point twice. The only question is whether the great in question accepts it gracefully or fights it bitterly until they're forced out. The Lakers front office is watching this situation unfold with growing concern because they have decisions to make. LeBron is owed $52.6 million next season. That's championship-level money for a player who might not be a top 3 option on his own team anymore. They could trade him, but who wants to pay that contract for a 41-year-old complementary player? They could buy him out, but that creates salary cap complications and PR nightmares. They could ask him to restructure, take less money, accept a bench role, but LeBron's ego might not allow it. Or they could run it back, pay him the full amount, and hope that he continues to accept his reduced role without creating locker room drama. None of these options are good. All of them involve uncomfortable conversations and potential conflict. And then there's the elephant in the room that nobody's discussing publicly, but everyone's thinking privately. What if the Lakers are better long-term without LeBron? What if his contract coming off the books next summer allows them to sign another superstar to pair with Luka and Reeves? What if the team that wins the championship in 2026 or 2027 is built around young stars who aren't carrying the baggage of LeBron's legacy and ego? Front office executives won't say this out loud. General Manager Rob Pelinka will give politically correct answers about LeBron's importance to the franchise. But in private conversations, in draft meetings, in long-term planning sessions, they're absolutely discussing a post-LeBron future. And those discussions started the moment they realized the team went 8-3 without him.
Here's what LeBron is facing in January 2026. The rest of this season is an audition for next year's role. If he continues to defer gracefully, accept fewer touches, play within the system that Redick is building around Luka, then he gets to come back next season and chase one more championship as a complementary piece. If he fights it, if he demands more touches, if he creates tension by trying to reclaim his throne, then the Lakers might part ways with him this summer, despite the $52.6 million commitment. They'll find a trade partner, they'll restructure the deal, they'll do whatever it takes to move on, because championship windows don't stay open long, and they can't afford to waste Luka's prime waiting for LeBron to accept reality. The pressure is immense. Every game is scrutinized. Every fourth quarter where he sits on the bench while Luka and Reeves close becomes evidence that the transition is complete. Shaquille O'Neal's comments weren't cruel, they weren't disrespectful, they were honest in a way that few people are willing to be about LeBron James, because his legacy is so massive, his influence so powerful, his fan base so defensive that any criticism gets attacked immediately. But Shaq, as someone who's been there, as someone who understands what it's like to transition from dominant force to role player, felt obligated to speak truth that LeBron himself probably already knows. Man, I don't want to be the one to say LeBron is a complementary player, but somebody had to say it. Somebody had to acknowledge what's happening. Somebody had to give voice to the reality that millions of basketball fans are watching unfold in real time. LeBron James, the king, the chosen one, the player who dominated the NBA for 2 decades, is now a third option on his own team. And the scariest part? The Lakers might be better because of it. This is the final chapter of LeBron's career, not the ending he imagined, not the storybook finish where he rides off into the sunset as the undisputed best player in the world, but the harsh, unforgiving reality that Father Time catches everyone eventually. Even kings, even legends, even players who seemed immune to aging. Shaq's words will echo through the rest of this season and beyond. They'll be referenced in debates about LeBron's legacy. They'll be cited as the moment when everyone finally admitted what they'd been seeing for months. The greatest player of his generation has become a complementary piece. And whether LeBron James accepts that reality or fights against it will determine how his legendary career actually ends. The information in this video is based on reports from ESPN, Basketball Network, beIN Sports, Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, Fox Sports, NBA.com, CNN, Newsweek, Silver Screen and Roll, and various other credible sports media sources covering the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James's injury, and Shaquille O'Neal's commentary throughout the 2025-2026 NBA season. Player statistics, injury timelines, team records, and analyst comments reflect the most current information available as of early January 2026. LeBron James's role, the Lakers' performance, and future developments remain ongoing situations that could change as the season progresses.